Good morning, everybody. This is Sylvia. This is the Fiat-Proof podcast. And today, my very special guest, my dear friend, Alexandra Kons from the WildLife Unschooling podcast is here with me. I'm super happy to see her and speak with her. Hi, Alex. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I mean, you invited me to your podcast a while ago, and we had such a big connection, like fireworks exploding, that I said, I'm going to invite you over to mine. And you already said you're going to have another episode with me on your podcast at some point. So now it's time for you to be on the Fiat-Proof podcast because you're the perfect candidate. You're a hardcore unschooler, you're a hardcore Bitcoiner, and you also do a lot of work on yourself. So these are the three ticks, that you bring along for a place to be and Fiat-Proof podcast. And I mean, when I had the interview with you on your podcast, you mentioned that when your son was born, which is like 10 years ago, 11? How
11. He
11
just
years
turned
ago.
11, yeah.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Paul. So 11 years ago, when he was born, you held him in your hands and you looked at him and you said, dude, you're never going to go to school. That's what I
Yeah.
remember. So I'd like to start there. This is the perfect, like, it's amazing. Like, you've unschooled from day one. I didn't even know about unschooling when Lima was born. I did do the unschooling without knowing it from day one, but let's, talk about that moment.
Yes, I didn't know that I was unschooling, to be honest. I thought I invented it because I was so programmed into thinking, because I'm German, I was so programmed into thinking that you cannot live without school. There's no alternative. This is how it's supposed to be. And I went to I think that time, the second best school in Germany. So I was super proud and I studied for years. And yeah, so when I held him in my hands, I was like, I'm not going to do this to him. It was like I was waking up from, I don't know where I've been before, but it was like a wake up call. I looked at him and I was like, dude, he looks like me. I'm not going to do this to him. It was like, if I do this to him, I'm doing it to me again. So that's not going to happen. Yeah,
Okay.
but I didn't know it was unschooling at all. I just thought I invented something new.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of does. That's what kids do. They explore things, they discover things for the first times in their lives. They discover things, and that's important. That's the best way to learn, not people going and saying, and we don't do that. We don't go to babies and say, now put one foot here and one foot there, or
True.
speak after me, mama. We do that for fun, but everybody learns how to crawl, how to roll over, how to walk, how to speak, how to do everything without school, without really instructions. Like the instruction part is what, like 1%?
Mm-hmm.
It's all just watching and exploring and trying out. So yeah, that's the thing. Everybody unschools from the day they're born, and that's the best way to learn.
So true. So true.
How did it continue then with
Yeah.
Paul, the baby?
So I didn't had a plan. I never have a plan until now. I'm just clueless and I just follow my heart. So I was pretty sure that I'm not going to put him in any kind of kindergarten. So I took him to university. I think he was 2 weeks old and my vacations were over and I had to go to university. So I took him with me because I didn't really saw any law that is forbidding that. So I just did it. And yeah, it was not always nice because of this double pressure on myself, being a mom, studying, and all these things. But I pulled it through. I graduated. I even studied something else and graduated, and something else and graduated with a baby. So for everyone out there, it's doable, and it should be like that. You should have your baby. And to be honest, there were only a few people hating me for doing what I was doing, and these were all people without kids. But they had a wish to have babies,
Mhm.
but they couldn't have babies. So it was just not me personally, but the image of the mom with a young child. So yeah, and when he turned, I think 3, everyone was like, yeah, now he has to go to kindergarten and stuff. And I was like, does he? Does he though? But I found a pretty cool kindergarten that was it's just the perfect fit. And it was a democratic kindergarten, and they didn't have no stupid rules. The kids could eat whenever, they could do whatever. It was very free. It was child-led, discovery, inspirational, and they were singing and dancing, and they had just a perfect time over there. And you have to imagine, we were living in Berlin, and I was already like longing for wilderness and adventure, but I couldn't. I had no money. I had to finish my studies, and this was just like, oh my god, I can bring him there. I can pick him up whenever I feel like. I don't have to bring him at all if I don't feel like. And all the other kindergartens, they were like, yeah, he has to come every day because of socializing and these kind of things. And in this kindergarten, they were like, you have to do what's right for you. I was like, oh my god, I love it. And I met a wonderful kindergarten teacher. We're still friends up till today, and she really deepened my let's say intuition into this direction. She was like giving me all these books, and she was very subtle with that. She wasn't like, you have to do unschooling, but she saw what I saw, and she was like, she can do it. Like, she
Wow.
can do it. And she was feeding me all that knowledge, and she was supporting me like crazy. And then with like 6 years old, you have to go to school in Germany, and he was 5.5, and I already felt like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But I tried my best because I wanted to stay in Berlin because of my friends and everything. And I really didn't have the guts to change my life at all. I wasn't ready for that. I was still studying. I was about to finish my master degree, but yeah, not ready. So yeah, we took a look at, I think we visited 34 schools or something like that, and everything from democratic to super free to normal state school. And even these democratic free schools were just a shithole, I need to say, because it's not about freedom. It's about keeping your kid at a place just to avoid legal consequences, whereby these places weren't cool. um, so I had that feeling, okay, that's not going to work. And you can shift that school year, like entry year, from 6 to 7 if you have a reason. I didn't have a reason, but I tried it anyway. And they said no initially, but then they lost our documents. So they had to say yes. You know what I mean? And I was so lucky. I was like, wow, that's a
That's a
gift from
gift.
God. It's a gift from God for sure. And but the same second I realized, okay, if I don't pack my bags, and they will find their documents, and then I'm screwed. So I just packed my bags. I gave away all my stuff. I packed my cat as well, and we started traveling the world. We traveled before a lot because in Germany you go to university 3 months, then 3 months vacations, and so on. So we had that rhythm of traveling for 3 months already. So it wasn't a huge change. The biggest change was getting rid of our stuff, quitting all the contracts, the flat and everything. So the apartment was gone, and then it was just a free fall into whatever. So yeah, that was the story. And I thought I would be homeschooling or searching for a school somewhere else. Like, we had a look in so many countries, so many schools, and I ended up thinking, okay, nothing fits. Then homeschooling. Then I tried homeschooling because I'm a German teacher, and I found out like after a couple of hours, okay, this is ruining our relationship. I'm not gonna do it. And then yeah, just let it go. I didn't do anything since then.
Wow. It's such an amazing story. So you've been a single mom since the day your son was
Yeah,
born. Like, you've
since
done
day
it
one.
all by yourself. Wow, that is
Yeah,
amazing. Because yeah, there are so many people who say, but I can't, but because of
yeah,
this, but because of
yeah.
that. And
I don't believe that.
so
I'm
amazing.
so
Yeah,
sorry.
there's always a way. Yeah. Yeah. There's always a way. You always have a choice.
You
Like,
always have a choice, and it doesn't
always.
feel good. I don't say it feels good to leave your country, your home, the language, your mother tongue. Leaving that behind doesn't necessarily feel good, but sometimes it's necessary for the next big thing to come. And I
Yeah.
didn't regret it one day, for sure. No.
Right. Yeah, I think another thing that like about you is that you are a person who questions a lot. Like, you don't just follow mainstream and just do what you're told. Because I remember this other story when you were here a month ago, a bit over a month ago for the Bitcoin conference. You told me about your time at school and how they, like, you kind of became a troublemaker because you were questioning the system and you were constantly at the principal's office, and they told you, did they say you weren't bright enough or something in the
Oh, my
beginning?
parents thought I'm stupid. I
Okay.
think they thought I was retarded. They even dragged me to a psychological center to get tested, but I was highly intelligent instead of retarded.
Yeah, that's like school retards children. Like
Yes.
either they really do, or they put labels on kids, whether they're super intelligent like you, or they're just, just normal kids, like probably like me. I was just normal, but I also felt stupid. Like that's what I remember from school. And then you also said, I remember that you questioned the teachers. You said, why do I need to learn this? What do I need this for? And because you don't know all of this. Like the
Yeah.
teacher is like a teacher in two subjects. He doesn't know all of what he ever learned at school. Why do you need to learn this? So I love this, the way you question even already as a kid, and following your heart, following
Yeah.
your way, doing it your way. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Maybe more of those stories. I love them. What did you do at
Yeah.
school?
I did a lot of stupid things. I think yeah, there were a lot of teachers that were definitely way more stupid than I was. And with these teachers, I always had like confrontations because I was asking them, so you're teaching history and something else, and you're fat as fuck, and I need to do sports and this and that and this. And and some teachers were really perfect human beings. They were supporting me. And when I thought back about school, not so long ago, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months or something like that, because I always had this aggression inside of me. And then I remembered, no, they were awesome teachers as well. For example, the school principal, he saw me like I am, and he really liked me, and he never put anything on me. He always said, yeah, I have to follow certain rules, blah, blah. But he was always like, let it through, like in between the sentences, the lines, that he thinks everything is completely nonsense and insane, and he sees me and he's supporting me. And these kind of people really, I think, rescued my childhood, because at home was war, the other teachers were stupid, most of the kids were just screwed by parents and system. Yeah, so I don't know, I never learned really, and I still was a very good student, so they could never say something. I even started to study in grade 11, I think, because I was so smart. And I just remember there was one teacher, and he was really funny, and I had a good connection with him, my chemistry teacher. And I went from having a 5 minus, the worst grade in school in chemistry, to 1 plus, just because of the teacher changed. And with this new teacher, I did so much stupid stuff. One day I remember we had a test, and I just didn't feel like answering any of these questions. I wanted to draw because I was good in arts, and I wanted to draw. And I just wrote little comics on the paper instead of answering any kind of question, but a really good comic, not like a stupid shit comic, but a really good artwork. And he honored it. He gave me a 5, like not a good grade, but anyway, I passed the test. And the real trouble was at home. My parents lost it. You cannot imagine how my parents didn't see the artwork, but they just saw a child that is obviously trying to get in trouble. And my teacher and me, we were just laughing. We had a really good laugh about that. So yeah, so I think, although I needed to go through all that stuff, and I felt so insanely stupid the whole time because I couldn't keep up with this nonsense they were doing. They were telling us so many crazy stories. And I remember one teacher, geography, she was actually insane. She had a mental issue, and I needed to listen to that person. And I didn't feel like it. I was like, dude, she's mentally sick. She has a problem. She needs help. And I'm the stupid one. Now I'm collecting the bad grades for stepping up and telling everyone, hey, she's abusing her power. She's really bad person. She needs help. Yeah. So, but the worst thing is if you send your kids to school and not support them because you don't see the game. I think this is way worse than sending your kid to school because you don't see any other option, which is fine. and then tell them, yeah, you know, we have to go through this together, and it's like that, and I support you, I see you, and these kind of things, because kids survive school because the biggest impact is at home. But if home is shit,
Yeah.
then what are you going to do? Then you end up like me, being a troublemaker. I was more at the principal's office in certain years than in my classroom, and I enjoyed it because he was actually teaching me something. Like, he was doing all of his work, you know, and I was just sitting there in his big library, and it was a huge building, like a very old building with a lot of presence, you know. So I enjoyed these times, and I had a very nice art teacher. We were always smoking weed on the way to school, because we had the same way, and we crossed like bicycle roads, and then we had a little joint. And I think these kind of people really, these are gold, really.
Yeah. Mostly these people, because they cannot change the system. They can only, you know, shine some bright light
Yeah.
into certain kids, create some goodness within that really fucked up system.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, for those who decide to still send their kids to school for whatever reason, as you say, it's probably more challenging because I don't know, there's so many more factors that you have to take into account, you know, so many more people, so many more kids and adults who think they have a right for whatever, or a
Yeah.
say in your child's life, education. I'm just wondering right now, like I'm pretty much against the system and I would never send my kids there.
Never.
But is there a way to make it work? But, you know, why would you? What could be more important? What would you prioritize, like instead of your children and their childhood? It can go so wrong in school. Like they will, I would say, I mean, it's not, you know, again, backed by any study, but like 90% of the time it would be better. Like people are always better off without
Yeah.
school than with school.
Yeah, I can only confirm that, because my grandpa always said the worst kindergarten, or the worst school, no, how to, no, the best kindergarten and the best school is always worse than
Yeah,
home,
yeah.
even if it's a bad place to be. It wasn't true for myself, because if I would not have this place to go, like school, I really would have failed life for sure, because my parents were really not there at all.
Hmm.
So I was very lucky to be able to go to that pretty good school, really,
Okay.
because there were so many really touching, heart, like, yeah, just soul people, you know what I mean, that were
Hmm.
seeing me. And just imagine you don't have that. And I have a friend, she's now thinking she's unschooling all the day. She's a real unschooling, like you and me, she's unschooling mom. But she decided to give her kid to school for at least a couple of years to work on herself. And she said she knows this is not the perfect way, but she has no choice, because she doesn't want to become one of these stressed out moms. She's a single mom and she has a lot on her plate. And she said, this is okay. I will bring him there for like 5 hours. I will tell him, this is what we're going to do now. I'm going to work on myself. You're going to get back home and we will have the best life. I do understand that. I respect it. And I just hope that this kid will find other soul people in this school that are supporting him there instead of dragging him down, because this can go so wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
um yeah, but they're not, I mean, you are very hardcore as well, and not all of us are without plan B. Some of us just see plan A and go for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I thought about this morning actually, about you know, I know lots of single moms who are
Mm.
unschooling, or like at least if they live in Germany, you know, they send the kids to like a democratic school. Uh, but I was imagining somebody saying, yeah, but I'm a single mom and I need to work, and where's my kid if I'm at work and stuff. And I imagine there being groups of other single moms who come
Yes,
together to support each other. There's so much out there, so many different communities and groups and support systems.
true. And
And
you can do it alone. You can do
yeah,
it, because I
even
did
alone
it.
is good.
Nobody, I mean, I'm just a normal person, you know? And I think if I can do it with a cat and traveling the world, just finished university, no real job, just working online as a freelancer, everyone can do it.
And the cat's still around.
No, the cat died, but not because of traveling.
Yeah. Amazing. Where did you travel to? Which places have you seen?
So we've been all over Europe with the cat because you have to have blood tests and stuff like that. So with the cat, we just traveled inside of Europe. But without the cat, before I quit my apartment and everything, we've been to Asia. We're pretty in love with Thailand. I know it's a stereotype thing, but my family comes from Polynesia, and this was like the closest thing I could handle without being too afraid of being lost in the world. Um, so we've been to Thailand a lot of times and long times, especially long times. And in the jungle, we're not like the Bangkok people. We're like, okay, Bangkok is nice. Let's grab some food and hop on the next bus to the wilderness. So this was our thing somehow.
And when did you end up in Spain?
Good question. I think 2019. This was I didn't even know the Canary Islands existed, but I was asking my sister, this is some godly thing as well, my sister. And I was like, dude, I need to be as far away as possible from Europe while staying in Europe. How is that possible? Because I promised my grandparents not to leave Europe. But I was all over Europe and I didn't want to stay there. So, and my sister was like, you know what? I have an idea. You just go to the Canary Islands. I was like, dude, I don't even know what that is. And she was like, it's like West Africa, but it's still Europe. I was like, bought doing it. So, yeah, we landed here. And before I even left the plane, I was like, this is the place, this is my home. And since then we just stayed. Of course, then came this lockdowns and all these stupid things, and while the lockdowns were, I traveled back to Berlin, then to Austria because of the homeschooling policy, then to Italy. But I felt like, no, Canary Islands is the place to be for me, although it's super far away. I'm not disappointing because I still kept my promise. It's still Europe, but it's just so different here that different enough for me, like to be happy.
And when along the way did Bitcoin appear for you?
Quite early, I think before we started traveling. Bitcoin made it possible for me to travel, to be honest, because I think I invested in 2015. I didn't understand it, but I had like $500 and I wanted to invest. And I had a look at the stock market and I was like, wow, this looks like scam. And so I was searching and searching, then I found Bitcoin and I had no clue, but I had the feeling like, okay, if I invest then into that, because this sounds pretty cool. The community seems to have it all together. I seem to search for something that I'm searching for as well. I'm not crazy. These people are obviously, or if I'm crazy, we are together, all together crazy. That's okay. So I sold my coins, of course,
Oh,
to travel. I made a good plus, but I spent it all on traveling. Okay. And of course, I reinvested later on when I really understood what I did there and what Bitcoin was or is.
Yes, but sorry, before you go ahead, because there are so many listeners here who are unschoolers that either have never heard of Bitcoin or, just starting out. What did you like about it when you heard of it first? Can you say it in your own words back then?
Yeah. So what I loved was that I don't need a bank account, a broker or whatever to buy it. Because with all the stocks, I was looking at all the companies and I was like, I hate all these companies. I don't really want a share of this. And I don't want a broker and a bank to tell me when I can buy, for what price. And then they fuck up my transaction and all these things. I mean, I really tried to get into the game of stock market and anything. I mean, you can invest in anything and you will find the same problems. And then I found Bitcoin and I was like, okay, there's nobody in between me and my investment, first of all. Secondly, it was just super easy to invest. And I didn't have to wait until Monday morning, 8 o'clock. I could invest whenever I felt like, and I could buy whatever I feel like, and not you have to buy one share, and you cannot buy a part of that or this. So it was just a perfect fit for me, because everything I was searching for was there, like direct access, nobody in between, buy whenever, invest whatever. And then the best part was when I was a bit like deep diving into the topic. Not, it was still superficial, but I was reading so many nice, let's call it manifestos about freedom, self-sovereign lifestyle, and these kind of things. And I was like, wow, these people are my tribe. If I found Bitcoin to get connected to these people, then this is just a nice coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but that time I felt like welcome, you know, because my family hated me for being such a freedom seeker. My whole surrounding, basically, a part of my grandparents, they really were always very supporting, although they hated what I'm doing. But this community was like me, you know. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm not the only insane person on this planet, obviously. And I really liked this this tribe that was coming with the investment.
Yeah. I mean, the freedom part of Bitcoin is also just, you know, for the listeners to understand who don't know. Yeah, you can take your money, like Bitcoin as money, as your currency, to any place. You don't need to have it like in your pocket, on a bank account. Nobody can take it from you. Yes, it's possible to lose it, but that's on you. There are ways to keep it safe. But like people compare it a lot to gold. Like people say, no, we're all gold. You know, Bitcoin is shit because of this and that. But if you compare it just like for travel purposes, it's very hard to travel with a lot of gold. It's very hard to pay with gold. You can't just scrape off a bit and then give it to the shopkeeper. With Bitcoin, you just ask them to set up, one of the apps that exist to accept Bitcoin. Then you send it immediately. It's super quick. It's from person to person, no intermediate. What else, Alex, is there? What's so great about Bitcoin? What makes life so easy? And where's the freedom in here to
I
help them?
think for me, it was always the image of I'm living in a country, or you know, where Bitcoin is not accepted and nobody is really using it. The state is not really accepting it. People are clueless about it, and they are all in this rat race. They are running behind the money. They need to. They love the struggle. Everyone loves the struggle. They are in somehow codependent to the struggle. And then I look at my Bitcoin wallet and I think, you can take everything from me, everything I own. And it's not a lot. You can take it from me, but what you cannot take from me is my password, my seed phrase to my Bitcoin. I can swim naked to El Salvador and start a new life as a rich person, although you took everything from me. So it is like I have the choice. I have control over my finance, over my life, over my savings, because I can't save. I'm a single mom, and I don't say it's impossible to get rich, but it is fucking hard because you have to be mom, dad, housekeeper, unschooling person, you know. You have to be so many roles as a single mom that becoming rich is not on my to-do list, not at all. It's just surviving. But with Bitcoin, I know nothing can really happen to me, because now how many countries are accepting Bitcoin? It's El Salvador, it's Central African Republic, and there will be some more. So I have the choice to just go to, I think Mexico might be next. I love Mexico, dude. I love Mexican food. So, you know, if they're here getting on my nerves with their school system, with their taxes, with their inflation and all of that stealing and slavery, I can just go somewhere else and live a free life. And having this in the back of my mind, I mean, I love the place where I'm at. I love it here. This is why I'm not leaving. If I wouldn't love it that much, I'm just in love with the island, you know, then I would be long gone for a country that is actively involved in Bitcoin. So yeah, this is something that keeps me happy and motivated, and yeah, that gives me hope. I think Bitcoin is a huge portion of hope, not only getting rich quick or anything like that, but it's hope, not only finance, but for a lot of things. Because yeah, we all need money, and money is powering so many great things out there. And let's get back to money is a tool and not money is the devil, because money is not the devil. The central bank is the devil, you know?
Yeah.
And having something that is so neutral, that is resistant against war, censorship, and all these things I hate, that's just a perfect fit for me. And until now, I mean, we didn't discover who Satoshi Nakamoto yet. This might change. Just imagine one day the CIA is coming around the corner. Oh, we invented it. Haha. Okay, this might change the story a bit, you know? But anyway, until now, it doesn't look like it. So until now, I'm pretty much in love with the whole concept, the vibe, the movement, the
Yeah.
tribe. For me, it's more than money. Definitely more than money.
Yeah, like as you say, Satoshi Nakamoto, we don't know who it is. They set it all up. Bitcoin runs on math, so it's kind of unchangeable, unbreakable, uninfluential, if that's a word. Yeah, you cannot inflate. It's deflationary, so you cannot print more. There are just 21 million Bitcoins. And it's been around for 15 years. And the person or the group of people who invented it, they just put it out there and then disappeared. Nobody knows who they are, what happened to them, if they're gone because of choice, because they died. Nobody knows it. But it was a very selfless act. It was really just to change the world for the better, because they could see the problems with the monetary system. And this Bitcoin is the way to fix this. So the more people adopt Bitcoin, use it, work with it, accept and pay with it, the better. And it is going that way. It's just spreading and spreading and spreading like a virus. Of course, there are opponents who don't like this, but I listened to a talk by Pablo Fernandez once, and he said, it's like a water, it finds a way. There's always a little hole where water runs through and it goes its way. Yeah, the more people adopt it, the better. And as Alex said, it's not so much about the money. It's, of course, it's a nice thought that one day you won't have to worry about money. You won't have to work. Your kids will not ever have to work. They can just do what they love, and they will create money by doing that. But there's always a safety thing behind that. But that's how most people start off in the beginning, I would say. But then when they see the true freedom tool behind Bitcoin, how it can actually change the world for the better, then people never sell that Bitcoin, because it just will increase in value. For 15 years, it's been increasing. I don't know how the percentage right now, but it's a crazy number. Nothing has increased in value like Bitcoin ever. It's the best invention of humanity. And if you start looking into it, because actually I've just started looking into it myself for all those years that we've been Bitcoiners. I'm a co-Bitcoiner. So my husband started off with it, and he, kept sending me screenshots and kept telling me things, and showed me some videos on Twitter and Instagram and, YouTube. And I kind of learned along the way, but I never did my own research. I just started doing this and reading books. And that's what I encourage also unschoolers to do, because it just fits like a glove. And Alex, was there a moment where you started seeing the connection between unschooling and Bitcoin?
Yes, I don't know when that happened, but I think it was when I started my own podcast about unschooling, because I tried to define how I would like to call that kind of education, because people just didn't get it. What was unschooling? And they were like, unschooling, I just don't get it. And they thought it was like some retarded version of letting your kids rot to I don't know, at home, you know what I mean? And I tried to tell to describe it to them. And then someday I stumbled upon like, it's decentralized education, man. It's
Yes.
decentralized education. And then I was like, you understand Bitcoin, do you? And most of the people I've been talking to, like in these kind of conversations or in this field of education, were Bitcoiners. And I was like, you love decentralized money. You will love decentralized education, man. And later on, of course, I told them, yeah, it's called unschooling. And then they made the connection. Okay, nice. but I saw that unschooling is censorship resistant. There are so many parallels. You are not relying on one central figure that is telling you what to do and what you can't do, but you just take everything that you want and need from the huge pool of humans around you as teachers, as influence. And you can, I mean, the world is so great. I mean, it's a wonder that we are on this planet and we are walking in this crazy flesh suits, you know, and all of these wonderful things. I think that are represented in Bitcoin and unschooling likewise, because it's both just very, for me, natural. It's back to the roots. Because I've been to the jungle and I've seen people living without money, but they would still love Bitcoin. I'm very, very sure about that. Because when I talked to them, they were like, yeah, they don't want the school system. They are not sending their kids to school. They are not moving out of the jungle because they are not believing in what they are teaching in school. The same with money. They are not believing what they're doing with the money. They think it's pure evil. So now we have these other things like Bitcoin and unschooling. Of course, they would love that. So I think the parallels are just crazy, and I see more and more Bitcoiner falling into the unschooling rabbit hole and other way around. So there is a connection for sure, because it's both the freedom-based lifestyle, and I think we are all here for a reason, but we are kept from seeing that reason through being kept in mass human, just mass human breeding, let's say it like that. I don't see us any different from the cows that are stapled in their disgusting facilities. That's school for me. So we never have the opportunity to discover our real soul, because we are, first of all, programmed and never thinking about that we have a soul at all. We are programmed into, you have to obey all the time. You have to be an obedient worker. This is what the school system was set up to. And then they feed us into this slavery finance system that we cannot escape, because we have to run all the time to survive. And it's getting worse and worse. So I think the parallel there is both tools give us the freedom and the room on so many different layers to discover ourselves and to enjoy life, because this is what we're here for, I guess. I hope.
Yes. I love the way you described it. It was perfect for everybody, for the Bitcoiners to better understand unschooling, for the unschoolers better understand Bitcoin and how it fits perfectly together. And then to kind of round this topic up, like as this fiat-proof, because I don't, if the unschoolers don't know about fiat, fiat is this term that is used in Bitcoin, in the Bitcoin scene. It means that you just obey to authority. You just, because they say so, you know, it's the truth or it's the rule. And fiat-proof means that you do question. You don't just follow blindly, whether it's in education or with your money, because the government says this money has value because I say so, but it doesn't. It just decreases and decreases and decreases because they print more and more and more money. And I mean, you could see that in every aspect of life. I think it would be kind of crazy to just, you know, have Bitcoin, but then send your kids to school and then go to the doctors and get lots of vaccinations because they say so. Or you have a boss and then he tells you, okay, now you have to do this like that because I say so. I think you have to go all the way. You have to fiat-proof yourself all the way to also fiat-proof your children all the way. If you unschool them and if you have Bitcoin, but then you don't do any work on yourself, and then you just kind of regurgitate, is that a word? You just say what your parents and your grandparents and their ancestors said. Like, there must be phrases that each family has passed on for like thousands of years. Okay, as long as their language existed. But there must be some things, you know, that if it were possible to go back in time and see, like, you probably looked like your grandmother, and you said the same exact thing, and it was all just passed on. So that is another authority, like your thoughts that you think that's not you. You have to question them. That comes from you hearing your parents saying these things to you or to other people. And they said it to you because they had heard it from their parents or uncles or teachers or somebody. So there's an authority in your head that is managing you, that is guiding you, that is your CEO. And if you don't question your thoughts, you're going to pass that on. So that's the third or like component. Yes, third component. But there's health. There's so many aspects of life. But if you start up here, I think like within you, it's like it has a huge ripple effect. It will make unschooling easier. It will make adopting Bitcoin easier. It will make your health. It will increase your health because you won't rely on thinking, oh, what should I eat now? Or should I take these pills? Or I need to go to the doctor because I have this, whatever. You can, because this physical intelligence that we have, like every animal, we're just another animal on the planet, is so much more intelligent than our intellect. Like I was listening to this book, audiobook Mastery, and he explained it's pretty much about unschooling and how to best learn. And there are so many stories about famous people like Mozart and Beethoven, and I think he has mentioned Einstein and Benjamin Franklin. And there was one guy, I didn't know his name, but he lived like 1700 or 1800 something. And he found that the heart is the one that pumps the blood through the body. And I was so amazed that just happened like 200 years ago. It's like 250, let's say 300 years ago, that we know about the heart pumping the blood through the fucking body. And then because it's been years that I heard Bruce Lipton say, humanity knows 1% of the human body, knows 1% of the universe. And for me, there was a bit like, okay, I've said it, but I've never seen a study about this number. I don't know 100% if this is true that we only know 1%. Maybe now it's like 10% because this video is 10 years old. But for only 300 years, we've known this fact about the body. We really don't know much about our own body, but our bodies know how to perfectly run and function, keep us alive. And the more we learn, like even science gets it wrong a lot. Things keep changing. If you say, yeah, but science says that I need to eat what was it again, spinach, because it's high in iron or whatever, and then a few years later, no, we made a mistake, we put one too many numbers in there, and then it's all wrong. Same with the cholesterol and so many other things. So we cannot just rely on what people tell us, and we cannot rely on what we think. We cannot rely on the thoughts that we think. So we need to also question that. I've been talking a lot. Your turn.
No, it's awesome because I really think we are not our thoughts. We are not.
Yeah.
And the most interesting thing I think you said was because I always tell my everyone that is telling me, yeah, but we did it like that, blah, blah, and this tradition, you're living that people's opinions.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. You don't even know why.
Stop. Yeah, you don't even know why, and stop doing that. And the best part is definitely you are not your thoughts. You are not. Your thoughts are a huge portion of what is going on in your subconscious and all these things. And watching your thoughts, you will realize that's not me, that's something else.
Yes.
And yourself is very much different from your body, from your thoughts. It's something else. And I think that's very important, especially when you unschool, because you need to get rid of that programming of that's people opinions in your head and these kind of things. And to watch your own thoughts will make you so much more happy. I mean, happier, so much happier, because then you realize, okay, that's not me, I can throw that out, and all these beliefs that are not really helpful to maintain a happy lifestyle and a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
It's just other people's bullshit in your head.
Yes.
Just
It's true. And another thing I'd like to add there is that you might think now, okay, it's stored in my subconscious, so I'll be very conscious now about my thoughts and my actions and my feelings, but it's all the same thing. Conscious or subconscious mind, it's the same thing. And how do you even know when it's your conscious or your subconscious mind that's, thinking right now? You have to really get out of that system and observe it. That's all you have to do. Okay, we just had a really bad internet connection here, no problem. But there was one last question I wanted to ask Alex, because she was here for the Bitcoin conference. We did an unschooling panel together, and she was here at home with us, with her son. She spent 3-4 days here, or they spent a few days here. We were together, and Alex had the chance to kind of look into behind the scenes of a place to be. And I'd just like you to ask you to see what your impression was of a place to be, so that other people can have like a look into it from another perspective.
That's I think that's easy, because I've been looking for a place like yours for I think 7 years or something like that. I've been traveling the world to find people like you. Now I'm very happy at the place I am, so that's not going to change. I'm not going to move. But for everyone out there who is looking for a great unschooling community that is also into Bitcoin, then this is the place to be. Haha. But seriously, I think you are gathering all the freedom tools in one place, so happy kids, happy parents, all these things are at your place, literally. So I think you found a beautiful spot over there. It's a wonderful island, awesome food. So I think I just saw the beginning. I mean, we've been talking on my podcast about the idea. Then I've been to your place and I actually saw you're already looking at the land. You're already inviting people over. People can start, like, it's the real start, the launch is around the corner. And I feel like you're pouring all your heart and soul into that project. So it is going to be a success. And yeah, it's a wonderful, lovely thing. And to see what's happening behind the scenes is it's incredible. And I cried at the conference. You were like, I don't know what does this conference give to you. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful to see what you're building over there. And I have like my eyes are like, I'm almost crying. Yeah. Because I really think we need more places like yours. It's so hard to do it on your own. And it is so much more fun to do with other great people. And you're all pretty cool. So it's not like you're going somewhere and you need to be afraid of creepy people or people who are not in their right mind. You're all pretty cool. You're super easygoing. I had the best time, and I'm really not a people person, but I felt like at home at your place. So what I can imagine is that this place you are building is a home, like a real home, home, how we imagine home. So
Yes.
yeah, it's just incredible. And for everyone who's like looking for a community to just be happy, that's it.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Come home. We're here
Come
waiting for
on.
you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. It was an amazing podcast.
Thank you so much.
I'll have you on again, and I'll come on to yours, and we'll come
Yes,
and visit
please.
you in Spain. So if people want to find out about your podcast, where do they need to go?
You can just find me on Twitter or Insta, the real Alex Ko, and you will find all the things in my bio. There's a little link, and there are millions of other links that lead you to millions of platforms where the podcast is.
Okay, great. It's the WildLife Unschooling podcast. This was
Yes.
Fiat-Proof podcast with Alex and me, Sylvia. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and speak to you soon. Have a great day, everyone.